the secret powder that makes plants grow faster and repels pests. Hello, dear plant lovers, and welcome back to Earthly Delights, the cozy corner of the internet where houseplants and garden dreams come alive. Whether you're a proud plant parent with a windowsill full of thriving greens, or you're just starting your journey with a single potted basil in the kitchen, you're in the right place. You're someone who cares, not just about plants, but about doing things naturally. You're mindful, maybe even a bit intuitive. You love watching life grow quietly beside you. But let's be honest, sometimes our leafy companions don't thrive the way we hope. The leaves yellow, the pests sneak in, and no matter how much we water or whisper encouragement, something still feels off. What if I told you the secret to healthier, happier plants is something you've likely thrown away without a second thought? In today's episode, I'm going to show you a simple, natural trick. Something that boosts growth, repels pests, and even makes your soil more alive. And the best part? It's already in your kitchen. So, if you're ready to transform your indoor jungle or backyard haven with nothing but a bit of citrus magic, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss another down-to-earth tip from Earthly Delights. Let's dig in. Seedling. Meet the hero ingredient. Orange peel, nature's forgotten treasure. Now, let me take you back to a quiet morning in my kitchen. The sunlight was pouring through the window, and I had just peeled a fresh orange. The aroma was sharp, sweet, and full of life. I looked at the vibrant peels in my hand and thought, how can something so rich in color and fragrance be considered waste? And that's when it hit me. These peels weren't waste at all. They were potential. You see, nature rarely creates something useless. And when it comes to orange peels, they're far more powerful than most gardeners realize. Hidden inside their bright skin are compounds that can nourish your plants and guard them like a silent protector. We're talking about natural potassium, calcium, essential oils, and even natural pest-repelling properties that rival store-bought products, but without the harsh chemicals. This is especially important for people like you, our community here on Earthly Delights. You care about what goes into your soil. You probably compost, or at least wish you had the space to. You love that earthy smell after watering your plants. And you'd rather find a natural solution than reach for a bottle with ingredients you can't pronounce. So, what makes orange peel so magical? It's a beautiful paradox, tough enough to survive decomposition for weeks, yet gentle enough to feed your most delicate houseplants. It's bright and fragrant, qualities that not only lift your spirits but also deter common pests like aphids, ants, and fungus gnats. And best of all, you don't need to be an expert to unlock its power. In fact, you might already have everything you need sitting in your fruit bowl. But before we dive into the how, I want you to imagine this: your pothos trailing with vibrant green leaves, your herbs perking up with new shoots, and your favorite rubber plant finally pushing out that elusive new leaf, all because of one simple, natural powder you made yourself. Are you ready to see how it's done? Let's take this everyday peel and turn it into plant gold. How to make the magic citrus powder, simple steps, big rewards. Let's get our hands just a little bit dirty, in the most delightful way. Now that we know orange peels are more than just kitchen scraps, it's time to unlock their full potential. And trust me, this process isn't complicated. It's something you can do on a quiet Sunday afternoon, maybe with a cup of tea nearby and your favorite playlist humming in the background. The journey begins the moment you save your orange peels instead of tossing them. It might feel like a small act at first, but like all things in gardening, it's the small, patient choices that lead to transformation. So here's what you do. Gather your orange peels, whether from today's breakfast or a week of saved peels from your family. Lay them out and take a moment to admire their color, their zest, their energy. Then, it's time to dry them. The best way, of course, is the old-fashioned way, sun drying. Just lay the peels out on a tray or cloth and place them where sunlight kisses them during the day. Within a few days, depending on the weather, they'll begin to curl, harden, and lose their moisture. They'll go from plump and juicy to light, crisp, and almost brittle to the touch. But hey, I know not everyone has the time or patience to wait for the sun to do its magic. If you live in an apartment, or it's a rainy week, don't worry, you can just pop those peels into the oven on low heat. Or use a dehydrator if you're fancy like that. Even air drying inside your kitchen will work, it just takes a bit longer. The key is to make sure they're completely dry, with no moisture left inside, or else your final powder won't store well. Once dried, the peels become feather-light, almost paper-thin. This is where the fun begins. Place them in a mixer grinder or a clean coffee grinder, and give them a few good pulses. The scent that rises? Absolutely heavenly. A warm citrusy aroma that will make your whole kitchen smell like a Mediterranean grove. Don't worry if the powder isn't super fine, a slightly rustic texture is just as effective. And just like that, you've created your very own citrus plant tonic. Rich in nutrients and ready to bring your garden to life. It's empowering, isn't it, to know that something so simple, so often discarded, could hold the key to a healthier, more vibrant garden. And the best part? This powder doesn't just sit on the shelf, it has so many uses. But before we get into that, I want to pause for a second. Imagine this. Every time you open that jar of orange peel powder, you're not just feeding your plants, you're participating in a cycle. A full, beautiful loop of nature, from fruit to peel, to soil, to leaf, to air. It's the kind of quiet magic that makes plant lovers like you and me feel deeply connected to something more. Now that your powder is ready, let's explore exactly how you can use it to nourish your green companions and keep the pesky bugs away. Naturally, shall we? How this powder works like magic, science meets nature. Let's take a moment to zoom in, not with a microscope, but with curiosity. You now have your orange peel powder, golden and fragrant, sitting proudly in a jar. It may look humble, but inside those sun-dried specks lies a miniature universe of power. This isn't just folk wisdom, it's biology. It's chemistry. It's the quiet science of the soil. When you sprinkle this powder into your pots or onto the garden bed, you're giving your plants more than just something to eat. You're offering them strength, protection, and balance. Orange peels are naturally rich in potassium, a key nutrient that encourages strong stem development and helps regulate water movement in plant cells. That means sturdier plants with better resilience to heat and stress. And if you've ever struggled with weak, floppy leaves or plants that just give up mid-season, you'll appreciate how potassium breathes structure into your greens. But the magic doesn't stop there. These peels also contain calcium, which is crucial for new root formation and helps prevent diseases like blossom end rot in fruiting plants. It's like giving your plant a stronger backbone, right from the roots. Then there's the aromatic oil, the soul of the citrus. While we humans find that scent refreshing, many common garden pests find it overwhelming, even irritating. Tiny invaders like aphids, fungus gnats, and ants are often repelled by the natural compounds found in citrus skins. It's like a gentle yet persistent guardian wrapping your plant in a protective aura, saying, "Not today, bugs, not this one." And perhaps most beautifully, this powder isn't just a quick fix, it's slow, steady nourishment. As it breaks down in the soil over days and weeks, it releases its goodness gradually. This gives your plants time to absorb what they need, without the shock that chemical fertilizers often cause. For those of us who grow not just to produce, but to connect, to nurture, to heal, this matters deeply. There's something incredibly reassuring about knowing you're not forcing growth, but encouraging it, not battling nature, but partnering with it. And if you're someone who's ever whispered encouragement to a struggling peace lily, if you've ever felt a quiet joy watching a new bud unfurl, then you already understand this connection. It's not just about green leaves. It's about life, balance, and the beauty of small things done with care. Now that we understand how this powder nourishes and protects from within, let's explore exactly how to use it, both in your soil and as a natural, homemade plant spray that even your most sensitive houseplants will thank you for. Ready to put your powder to work? Let's keep going. 2 easy and effective ways to use it. Let the garden feel the love. So, you've crafted your golden citrus powder. You know what it carries: nourishment, protection, and the whispers of nature's quiet intelligence. Now, let's bring it to life in your garden, in your home, in the little ecosystems you've lovingly built around windowsills, balconies, and backyard corners. There are 2 beautiful, simple ways to use this powder, and both are as gentle and powerful as the plants you're nurturing. The first, directly into the soil. This is the most intuitive method. Next time you're tending to your pothos, your tomatoes, or your basil, take a small pinch of that orange powder and gently sprinkle it around the base of the plant. No need to bury it deep, just let it rest on the top layer of the soil or mix it in with your fingers. The soil will begin absorbing it over time, like a sponge soaking in sunlight. What happens next isn't instant, it's not meant to be. Over days, the powder will slowly release its nutrients, subtly changing the soil's texture and chemistry. Your plant will sense it. The roots will respond. You might notice deeper green leaves, firmer stems, or even a new shoot where you didn't expect one. And as a bonus, the scent left in the soil naturally repels pests that often hide near the base. Especially those that attack from below, like ants, mealybugs, and root gnats. This method is perfect for busy gardeners, or those who love a low-maintenance routine. Once every week or two is enough. Just a sprinkle, just a whisper of care. The second method feels almost magical, because you turn this powder into a living spray. Something you can mist over leaves like morning dew. Here's how. Take 5 tablespoons of your orange peel powder and stir it into 2 liters of warm, not hot, water. Mix well, and then let it sit. Let the warmth do its work, helping the nutrients and oils seep gently into the water. Give it 30 to 60 minutes, and then strain it with a fine cloth or sieve. What you're left with is liquid gold. Pour it into a spray bottle, and you now have your very own citrus shield. This spray is especially powerful for indoor plants where pests love to lurk in hidden corners. Gently mist both the tops and undersides of the leaves. Pay attention to the stems. And don't forget the soil surface too. As the fine mist settles, it leaves behind a layer of protective citrus aroma that discourages insects from landing, and more importantly, from staying. And here's the part one loves the most. It doesn't just protect. It nourishes. Every mist is a microdose of minerals and love. Every drop is a message to your plant. You are safe. You are supported. You can grow. Use this spray once or twice a week, or whenever you sense a plant is struggling. And because it's all natural, you don't have to worry about harsh residues or harming delicate leaves. This is a remedy born of the earth. Safe even for herbs you plan to cook with later. By using this powder in these 2 ways, you're not just treating symptoms. You're cultivating resilience. You're creating conditions where your plants don't just survive, but truly thrive. And isn't that what every gardener hopes for? Next, I want to share some stories and real results, because once you see how this tiny change can transform your green space, you'll never look at an orange peel the same way again. Shall we continue? Real-life results and transformations, when plants start whispering back. Now let me tell you a little story, one that might sound a bit like your own. A few months ago, I got a message from a viewer named Maya. She lives in a small apartment in the city, filled with light and love, and lined with pots of green friends she calls by name. Her favorite? A towering fiddle leaf fig named Leo. But Leo had been struggling. His leaves were dropping. The edges were brown. Nothing seemed to help. Maya had tried everything: store-bought fertilizers, pest sprays, even changing his position near the window. Still, Leo sulked, until one day, she stumbled upon this very orange peel remedy. With hope in her heart, and not much to lose, she decided to give it a try. She made the powder. She sprinkled it gently around Leo's base. She misted the leaves with the citrus spray once a week. Nothing dramatic happened overnight, but within 2 weeks, a new leaf began to unfurl. Then another. The browning stopped. The air around Leo felt calmer, more alive. And she told me something I'll never forget. She said, "It's like my plant finally felt seen. Like it could breathe again." And Maya isn't alone. I've heard from balcony gardeners in rainy cities who said their herbs have stopped wilting. From new plant parents whose monsteras are suddenly unfurling massive leaves. From quiet homes where the lemon balm started to bloom, just because someone believed in a peel. These stories matter, not because the powder is some kind of miracle cure, but because it's a reminder of something deeper. That small, intentional acts can change the energy of a space. That caring, truly caring, has a ripple effect. When you show up for your plants, they show up for you. Maybe not in words, but in life. In the soft, silent language of new shoots, of glossy leaves, of air that feels just a little more vibrant. And isn't that why we grow? Not just for beauty, not just for greenery, but for connection, for the quiet joy of watching something thrive because we chose to nurture it. So if you're wondering whether this little orange peel trick really works, maybe the real question is, are you ready to watch your plants respond to your care in ways that will surprise you? Because once they do, it's hard to go back. Bonus benefits you didn't expect, more than just plant food. By now, you've seen how a simple orange peel can feed your plants, protect them from pests, and awaken their vitality. But what if I told you, that's just the beginning? Because nature, in all its generosity, rarely offers a single gift at a time. When you lean in a little closer, you begin to notice the quiet side effects, the unexpected blessings, of using this powder in your garden. One of the first things many gardeners notice is the change in their soil quality. Orange peel powder doesn't just sit there. It works its way into the soil like a soft conversation, breaking down slowly, adding organic matter, and gently loosening the earth. Over time, the soil becomes softer, more crumbly, more alive, and that means better moisture retention. If you've ever felt frustrated that your soil dries out too quickly, especially with indoor plants in terracotta pots, this little powder becomes a silent ally. It helps the soil stay balanced, holding just the right amount of water without becoming soggy or compacted. But there's another secret hidden inside those peels: natural oils with subtle antifungal properties. These oils help protect your plants from some of the most common, sneaky diseases that start at the root zone or linger on the undersides of leaves. Think of it as preventative care, the kind your plants didn't know they needed, but will absolutely thank you for. And believe it or not, the citrus scent that deters pests? It also has an effect on us. That fresh, zesty aroma lingers in your hands, in the soil, in the air around your plants. And studies have shown that citrus scents can lift mood, reduce anxiety, and even spark creative thinking. So while you're spraying your plants, or tending your pots with a pinch of powder, you're not just gardening, you're healing. Quietly, gently, naturally. There's also something beautifully symbolic here. By using something we normally discard, we practice gratitude, resourcefulness, and a mindset of zero waste. It's a return to simpler values, ones where nothing is wasted, and everything has the potential to nourish. So yes, this powder will make your plants stronger, but it may also make you more grounded, more connected, more aware of the small miracles in your everyday routines. That, to me, is the real magic. Now, before you run off to start your citrus alchemy, let me share a few final tips, little insights from my own years of trial, error, and leafy conversations. Ready? Let's move into a few helpful reminders that will make this process even more rewarding. Caution and tips, gentle wisdom from the garden path. Now, before you rush off with a jar of citrus magic and dreams of a thriving jungle, let's pause for a breath. Because as with all things in nature, balance is key. Even the most natural remedies need to be used with mindfulness. First, remember this: more isn't always better. Orange peel powder is gentle, but like any good thing, it can overwhelm if applied too often. A small sprinkle once every 10 to 14 days is more than enough for most indoor plants. Think of it as seasoning, not a feast. Especially if you're growing in containers or pots where nutrients stay concentrated. Moderation helps maintain harmony in the soil. Overdoing it might lead to slight acidity. And while citrus is wonderful in small doses, your plants prefer subtlety over boldness. And what about the spray? Yes, it's wonderfully safe, but even with natural sprays, it's always a good idea to test it first. Spray a small section of one leaf and wait 24 hours. Every plant is unique. Some with delicate or fuzzy leaves, like ferns or African violets, might be a bit more sensitive. So a gentle mist rather than a heavy coat is the way to go. Also, store your orange peel powder properly. Keep it in a cool, dry, airtight jar away from moisture and sunlight. That way, it stays potent for weeks, even months. The oils won't lose their strength. And every time you open that jar, it'll still carry the bright scent of possibility. And here's a little insider tip: if you want to level up the mix, you can combine your orange peel powder with a bit of neem powder, cinnamon, or even crushed garlic for extra pest control. Especially in warmer months, nature has a whole pantry of gentle protectors. And they often work better together than alone. But above all, trust your intuition. You've likely already developed a quiet sensitivity to your plants, the way they droop when thirsty, the glow they give off when happy. That same instinct will guide you here. If a plant seems to love the powder, keep going. If it seems unsure, pull back, adjust, and listen. Because the truth is, gardening isn't about controlling nature. It's about entering into a partnership with it, a relationship. And relationships thrive not on force, but on attention, on rhythm, on grace. So with your powder in one hand, and wisdom in the other, you're more than ready. And in our final moments together today, I want to offer a message, a quiet reminder of what this journey is really about. Shall we bring it all home? Grow with grace, grow with intention. So here we are, full circle. From a simple orange peel in your kitchen, to a powder cradled in your palms, to leaves that reach a little higher, soil that breathes a little deeper, and a home that hums with quiet life. And isn't that the heart of it? This journey isn't just about gardening tips or pest control. It's about returning to what's real, to what's slow, to what's meaningful. Every time you choose a natural path, like turning food scraps into nourishment, you're not just helping your plants grow. You're reminding yourself that growth, real growth, is rooted in patience, in care, in cycles. It's not about instant results or perfect leaves. It's about the joy of watching something respond to love, about learning to listen to the silence between leaf and soil, about trusting that nature, when supported, not forced, knows exactly what to do. So the next time you peel an orange, I hope you smile, because now you see it differently. You see it as potential, as partnership, as a quiet promise from the earth that says, nothing is wasted here. If this video has inspired you, even just a little, I invite you to join this growing circle of mindful gardeners. Tap that subscribe button, so you don't miss any more whispers from the garden. Leave a comment and share how your plants have responded, or simply tell us their names. Because every leaf has a story, and every story deserves to be heard. From my little green corner to yours, thank you for spending this time with me. May your plants be healthy, your heart be full, and your soil always soft. Until next time, keep growing with love, and keep delighting in the earthly things. Herb.